the people, by the people. For the culture.
Peace, Jumbo. Welcome to the VITAL HOOPS Podcast, right here on Black Power Media Reloaded. My name is Fernando Cardenas, aka International XB. I am your host, and this is episode number 80. We have a special guest today, and he's no stranger to the VITAL HOOPS Podcast. Our guest is from Louisiana and Oklahoma. He's a Pan-Africanist MC. He's a high school teacher. He says what he means, and he means what he says. Our guest is Marcel P. Black. Marcel P. Black, welcome back to the VITAL HOOPS Podcast, my brother. How you doing?
I'm well, man. It's good to see you, man. How you been?
Man, I've been good. I've been, a lot going on. A lot going on, since the last time I
Facts.
seen you, man. You know what I mean?
Facts.
I'm happy to have you here, man. This is episode 80. Last time you was on episode 37, man.
Ooh, Lord,
Yeah,
it's been a while.
You know what I mean? So, it was a three-part series I was doing for 50 years of hip hop, remember? It was 50 years of hip hop. So, yeah, we had a nice talk, man. So, I appreciate that. And I'm glad to have you back on, man.
Yes, sir.
No doubt, man. So, I'm definitely gonna recommend everybody to go check out episode 37, because we spoke a little bit about you and a little bit of your history, you know what I mean? So today we're gonna get right into it, man. But okay, I wanted to ask you about teaching history, today. I know you're a history teacher, right? High school.
Yes, sir.
Talk to me about what is it like today teaching history, and as a Pan-Africanist, how much of that are you able to, pass on to the children? How receptive are the youth today as far as everything that you try to do? And yeah, just, tell us a little bit about that.
So I live in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which is currently 50th in education. So it's very conservative, very red, very white supremacist. Right now, the state superintendent of education, he is doing everything he can to angle to be a part of the Trump administration, or he's definitely riding the mega lines.
Okay.
And so I can say that our school district has done pretty much everything possible to keep it to where we can kind of do what we do. Of course they ask that we stick to the curriculum and stick to the standards.
Yeah.
But I kind of teach what I want to teach. Well, let me not say that. I teach what I feel needs to be taught. I teach in the manner that I feel like the young people will respond, and I try to supplement whatever is not there, which is a lot. You know what I'm saying? And really, it's a lot about teaching them, even if we are looking at a text, teaching them to critically look at the text. You know what I'm saying? Okay, yeah, this is what it said, but just as Pan-Africans, as Marxists, you know what I'm saying, looking at it from a dialectical and historical materialist standpoint.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, this is what the text said. Now let's look into consideration what was happening at the time, what was said at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So even if it's not something that I would put in there, I'm teaching them to think and to engage critically. Oklahoma is one of the schools to where the state superintendent said that we had to teach the Bible in every class. And and the state superintendent ordered like thousands of dollars worth of Trump Bibles.
Damn. So, but that was your job as a history teacher, teach the Bible?
Well, in PD, I wasn't gonna do it. Regardless. But in PD, our principal, who's a black man, HBCU educated, you know what I'm saying? He was like, nah, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like it was funny. So I teach mostly juniors and seniors. I teach history from 1877 to present. I also teach African American studies, and I teach hip hop studies. And
that's dope that you could do that in high school.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm literally building out and piloting a hip hop studies curriculum for the whole district, or what have you.
No doubt.
So and it's very interesting, man. It's very interesting. My African American studies class is mostly upperclassmen. Kids are so cool now. They act like they don't get excited by anything, but they really, for the most part, they really dig it. Like literally right now, we learned about Malcolm X. So I've been showing them the X movie in class. We've been having like critical discussions about the movie compared to some of the other texts that we've read. You know what I'm saying? In my hip hop studies class, it's probably the most interesting because I think the way hip hop is now, and young people now, they don't see hip hop the way we see hip hop. It's just another thing as opposed to a culture or a way of life. It's like elevator music to them. You know what I'm saying? And so like I remember at the beginning of the school year, I was asking one of my guys, and he wants to be a rapper himself. He's a junior high school, like 16, 17 years old. I asked him, who's your favorite old school rapper? He said Roddy Ricch. I said, that dude's like 25, man. But to him, Roddy Ricch's biggest song came out 4 or 5 years ago.
Right. So that's like old.
And I was like, well, if you listen to me, you probably think I sound like Run DMC. He was like, who's Run DMC?
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I hear it.
And like, you know what I'm saying? So it's very interesting and like trying to connect the culture of hip hop to young people. And honestly, and I feel like I'm 41 years old. I feel like people my age, you know, people around our age, it's our turn to do that. I think there's a huge, like the generation gap right now between millennials and what they call young Gen Z and like older Gen Alpha. The generation gap is so big culturally. And I think it takes us, it's our turn to do the part to really fill that gap.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I hear that, man. The reason I was asking you that because you know, I know how school can be. Like, I'm over here in France, but there are certain things that are similar. It's a colonizer country. Like my son goes to public school. And he's young. He's only 9, but like I see how they teach and what they teach him. Like the other day, he came home. They had learned about Napoleon. But he speaks about it like he's a hero. Like he's, what I'm saying? That's how it's their history. You know what I'm saying? So I had to tell him a little. I had already told him, but I had to tell him a little bit more about the Haitian Revolution, and what they were able to do to Napoleon's army, things like that he's not going to learn, and he's going to learn the history the way the colonizers teach it. You know what I mean? So
what's funny about it? So the majority of my school, I'm sorry to cut you off. The majority of my students are Black, Latino, and there's like a big Pacific Island population. People coming from like the Marshallese Islands, the Trukees Islands, whatever. I apologize if I'm saying it wrong or whatever. And so I always try to make sure that whatever I'm teaching, even if I'm teaching about white folks or Europeans or whatever, like I'm teaching it from a way that reflects the classroom. You understand what I'm saying? So like I was able to successfully like living in Tulsa. Tulsa is the capital of the myth of Black buying power and Black capitalism because of Black Wall Street, right? So like that's all they know is, get rich, get wealthy, get money, whatever. But like I was able to like get them to see that when I asked them, what do you think the government should be doing, or what do you think should happen to make the world better? Well, the government should provide better schools. The government should end homelessness. The government should end poverty. The government should make it to where all the rich people don't have everything and poor people have nothing. I say, I know y'all talk about socialism, right? Y'all know y'all talk about communism, right? They was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? So I'm able to like when we do have these conversations, like everything. Like we talked about the Palmer raids. And so we talked about McCarthyism and J. Edgar Hoover. And so we had to do a side thing to talk about COINTELPRO. So if you're going to put it in the curriculum, make sure it's what you want to do.
Right.
Like when we talk about Reagan, we're going to talk about him putting crack in the hood. So if you put these people in my curriculum, let's make sure that's what y'all want to do, because everything I'm going to do is be based around liberation for oppressed people. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
And so I always try to make sure I'm putting that in there or have it. And it's in the standards. So, I'm just taking a different direction.
I hear that. Yeah, it's crazy how people are sometimes against, socialism, but they really don't know what it is. And when you tell them certain things, you know what I mean? And they also don't know what capitalism is. They don't understand it really.
They don't.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no doubt. So so this hip hop class that you're teaching, man, this is so dope. Tell me a little bit more about it. Like, do you get into the elements of the culture and all of that? Yeah.
So we started out with the elements. We started off with, you know what I'm saying, the I guess the recognized birth date and the recognized Sedgwick Cedar.
73,
You have 70. I do use that history because, and the reason why is because
I hear that.
I know some of the other histories that are out there that have merit. I'm just not as well versed. You know what I'm saying? But I think for introductory point, I use the the 81173 Cool
For
Herc
sure.
Block Party.
Yeah.
We definitely talked, and so I mean we talked about everything from the difference in styles from East Coast, West Coast to South. We talked about women in hip hop, misogyny, and sexism in hip hop. They love Tupac. They like that's one thing I can say about every school I've ever taught hip hop in. Tupac is absolutely the superstar. Like these kids,
Yeah.
like when I walk through my schools, you still see Tupac shirts every day. It doesn't matter Mexican, Black, Asian. Like the music, they take Tupac seriously.
Yeah.
It just he did something, man. Pac was special.
He did. He
Pac was
did.
really special, and I absolutely used Tupac to kind of like get in talking about Asada and the Panther 21 and talking about Afeni, things of that nature. Matulu as well.
For sure.
Right. So we talked about conscious hip hop, trap hip hop, drill. We talked about like right now we're doing hip hop in the 80s. And so we did everything from the Def Jam era to different artists at KRS-One. We talked about fashion. We talked about so these kids didn't grow up watching music videos. So like there was no 106 Park or
Right.
Rap
Rap
City.
City. Man, Rap City was so dope.
So like they don't understand the concept of that. They watch
Right.
everything via social media, right? And so and then right now we're finishing up the 80s, but we're talking about hip hop movies in the 80s. So we're watching the most school appropriate movie I can get was The Last Dragon.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So but it's like, but I try to talk about everything. We talked about the influence of Islam on hip hop. So we learned about the Nation of Islam and Farrakhan's influence. We did like a week on 5%ers.
Yeah, the gods in the earth, that's key to hip hop culture, man.
And so it's funny, like I refuse to teach the Bible, but I'm like, I'm absolutely gonna talk about the Nation of Islam. I'm absolutely gonna talk about the Nation of Gods and Earths. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not, this ain't a Bible class. Like now, if we talk about Christian hip hop, okay, then maybe. But other than that, there's no really need for that or whatever. And you're not gonna force me to do anything. I just want to work there if that's what it's gonna be. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you, man. Yo, when you talk about Tupac, man, it's true. He had a very strong impact, and me growing up in Cuba, it was the same. Like we used to love Pac, man, and Asada, obviously, she had a big impact on Cuban hip hop, but not only Asada. I don't know if you're familiar with Nahanda Biodun.
Yes.
Nahanda, she's known as the godmother of Cuban hip hop. You know what I mean? Because she used to have political education classes at her crib, man. And all the MCs would come through. Asada did some of that too, but then Asada she had to be, on the low because of, we know what's up. But Nahanda was able to really on a constantly, have people over, and she would do political education classes and talk about the importance of African people, the unity of African people worldwide and all of that. And so all of my comrades, this was like maybe like the people that are just one little generation above us, you know what I'm saying? People that are like 50 now, they got so much of that knowledge. And in the 90s, if you listen to Cuban hip hop in the 90s, it was super pro-black, man. It was straight, you know what I'm saying? And then unfortunately, now it kind of got away a little bit, kind of like everywhere else, you know what I'm saying? But definitely important to us, Asada and Nahanda, as far as Cuban hip hop as well, man.
Cuba sounds so dope. Like I be hear people talk about it, just like culturally, man. It's definitely like a place I gotta go visit. I gotta go check it out, bro.
No doubt.
It sounds so dope.
You let me know, man. You let me know.
Let's make it happen.
For sure. So listen, last time I had you on the show, you spoke about, hip hop being, being ours, hip hop being African, hip hop being Pan-African. Lately, there's been, a lot of people talking crazy, you know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, some legends, man, we've seen some legends, from the culture talking crazy as far as who invented hip hop, who started hip hop. And, there's all this conversation that's not really leading nowhere, in my opinion. But what do you think about all that?
Who exactly saying what? Like, what do you mean? Like, as far as like,
yeah, like, have you heard what Lord Jamar has been saying, for example? Unfortunately, like, Lord Jamar, man, he's legendary as far as, Brand Nubian and all that, man, but he's been talking crazy.
I think that a lot of those rappers, like all my favorite conscious rappers who I grew up on, who molded me as an artist and really influenced me as a man, all have went totally, like watching hip hop go right is probably been one of the, don't get it twisted. In African America or just in the diaspora, there's a lot of gross stuff happening. But like as a hip hop head, as somebody in the community, somebody in the culture, somebody who has a level of politics, watching hip hop go further and further right has been disgustingly gross.
I agree.
From Chuck D working with the State Department, from Killer Mike and everything he's kind of been up to, from KRS-One, freestyling for Eric Adams, to Ice Cube,
man, calling him the hip hop mayor,
to Ice Cube, literally speaking at the panel for the Zionists of America. I'm from I read Baton Rouge, so Boosie performing at the White House Black History Month program, Snoop, like all these people who like I listen to, who I loved, who I grew up on, who like really it's really getting sad. And like being a Republican is one thing, but being a Trump supporter is another. And like of course Kanye or whatever, but it's going further and further right because it's capitalism, man. And like I always say quoting Kwame Ture, a couple quotes. Capitalism makes us think we're thinking we're only merely reacting to stimuli. And then my favorite, Black power is not Black visibility. And like really and really understanding like what the buffer class is, what the petty bourgeois Negroes are, what the Black managerial class is, and why they're being platformed. Why are they allowed to say these particular type of things, right? And it's really been sad to watch. Somebody like Lord, and then a lot of them, let's be honest, like their records ain't selling. Like Killer Mike might be the only rapper who is close to his 50s. It's still like on a between Run the Jewels, his solo album. Like his album was incredible. Like Michael, it's one of my favorite albums. It's dope. Even though he was looking shots at some of my folks, I feel like the album is incredible. I listened to it the other day where I was on the road, and like, but everybody else, they're not selling no records, they're not doing no festivals, they're not as active as rappers, and you need a way to pay your bills.
That's true.
Like Lord Jamar dropped the 5% album 20 years ago. That didn't really sell or whatever. Brand Nubian's been over with for a long time. So now it's all about the podcast. And I think that, and I say this with love, like I think we give old New York Negroes way too much credit. As far as and I understand that's the quote unquote birthplace of hip hop.
Right.
But I also feel like just because you have a New York accent and you was born in the late 60s, early 70s, that does not, you don't speak for the whole culture.
That's true.
Right. And so, you have a peace God, the earth is flat and Black people are really Indians. Like you a 5%er, so the Black man is God, but now we're not Africans.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Like what are you saying? And the earth is flat. Like literally within the lessons, it tells you like the distance from the earth. You know what I'm saying? To the sun. And that wouldn't be possible with the flat earth. You know what I'm saying? So it's like but people will say whatever they get to say to get attention, to get them some money. It's not about the politics, it's not about the culture, it's not about the people, it's about making sure that they make sure their family is fed and that their business keeps afloat. It is not designed for the masses of poor, working, oppressed people.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I hear that. Some of these brothers, it's like they had Alzheimer's or something, man, because they were around when everybody knew what time it was. You know what I'm saying? Like the time people was rocking these, these African medallions. You got one too? I know you got one. Yo.
And the Malcolm X. It's blurring out Malcolm, but it's Malcolm though.
Yeah, I see that, man.
Yeah.
Yo, people knew what time it was. We always knew we was Africans. You know what I'm saying? And suddenly these dudes is coming out talking they Indians. You know what I'm saying? Trying to be, a lot of them is doing some of that house Negro stuff, man. Talking about trying to get close to massa. You know what I'm saying?
It's all about the money, man. It's all about the money. And like they sell it to us. Like another one of my all-time favorite rappers, Jay-Z, right? Jay-Z is here to make Black folks cool with whatever white folks want to sell us. Be it the Brooklyn Nets, be it the NFL, be it private schools and school choice in Pennsylvania. Right. That's what Jay-Z does at this point. That's where he makes his money or whatever. And like he got everybody to subscribe the title to build it up and saying it's Black owned, then he sold it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like but I think like to answer your question, it's like what do I think about it? I think it's sad that us as Black folks, us as working class folks, us as poor folks, whatever you want to call it, I think it's sad that we don't require more from these people. We want to protect these celebrities and wealthy people and famous people, but we don't require for them to do anything else. Like I always think about Fred Hampton saying that if you're a black businessman coming into my neighborhood trying to talk about black business, but you're not gonna do nothing for the community, I'll beat your ass to death for the Black Panther newspaper. Like, don't come and try to sell me nothing.
Right.
Like, what we shopping with you, but what are you going to? And I ain't talking about philanthropy. I'm not talking about philanthropy. How are you going? How does me going to a shoe store that you rent in a white-owned building and you selling me tennis shoes that is made in China and the company is owned by a white man? How does that benefit the poor kids in North Tulsa? How does that benefit the poor kids in North Baton Rouge? It doesn't. So don't sell me that these black businesses or black whatever. Don't sell me that whatever. If you're not going to talk to me about how we can redistribute this wealth and get our needs met, I'm not really trying to have a conversation with you on that level. Like I say this all the time. It's going to sound very contradictory, but I'd much rather hear Jay-Z talk about rapping, selling drugs, and shooting people than his take on what it takes for black liberation.
Yeah,
because at least we knew that, like, at least there was a level of art in it, and it's not here just for technology. And that's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, his only take on black liberation is financial freedom, where he calls financial freedom. You know, that's his thing. Yeah, man, no doubt. I agree with you on everything. Before we get into the EP, man, I want to get into the EP, man. It's dope. Talk to me about Maroon Music, man. I know that's like your label, established 2007.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about that. How did that happen? Why did you feel the need to do that? And
So I was with my name is Marcel P. Black. My label is Maroon Music, and before that, my group was called the Redland. So it's something about colors with me. I don't know what it is. It really helps. It helps out a lot or whatever. So I was with the group. Of guys, and we had a group / label that I started like when I graduated high school, and we broke up, and I needed my own situation. And so around the time I was reading about Queen Nanny, the Queen of the Maroons.
Yeah, Nanny Maroon.
You know what I'm saying? And I liked it. I like, like in Oklahoma, on my mother's side, right? Her great grandfather was a runaway slave, right? And so it resonated. So like the whole, like, running away from enslavement in America and fighting for your people, it always stood out to me. And then on my maternal side, we found out that we descend from Sierra Leone, the Mende people. Okay. And I found that I am a distant relative of Joseph Cinque, who was the person who overthrew the ship in the Amistad, right?
Yeah.
And so it's so like that level of rebellion and resistance is in my DNA.
Yeah.
It's in my DNA. You understand what I'm saying? And so, like, people think Maroon Music, they think the color or whatever, but like it is, you know what I'm saying? It's a cool color, but it's really about, hey, this music. It's about Black folks not only like getting free, but fighting, like actively resisting at every corner. Like, I remember reading, they was talking about how, like, these particular tribes that made up the Maroon people, they were warriors where they came from, but they would be known to like stay like leaned up and hugged up against a tree for days, waiting for, you know what I'm saying, European soldiers to come through and hop out of trees and fight. And they would stay perfectly still, right? And then also too, I like about the Maroon whatever was, when they like, as a fan of Fred Hampton, right? Like the Maroons also, they created their version of Rainbow Coalitions. So you had the runaway Africans, you had the indigenous people, you had your poor whites, you had different types of people who was all coming, like the Seminoles, right? And so like you had these people coming together to fight against oppression or whatever. So it also showed like a solidarity of people who's all in the same struggle.
Yeah.
So it is always I always dug it, and that's kind of been my thing.
For sure. Appreciate that, man. All right, the new EP is out. Everybody go get it. Obviously, it's down in the description. The link is down in the description. The Black Dilemma. Wait, before we get into it, let's talk about the cover, man. The cover, man. I want to know about the cover. You know what I'm saying? It's you and Umar Johnson. Talk to me about that, man. What's behind that?
So if you follow me on Facebook, I don't do it on Instagram as much. If you follow me on Facebook, one of my favorite things to do is crack jokes on Umar Johnson. Yeah. I'm on this top. He blocked me on Twitter. But I love talking about Umar Johnson. I think Umar Johnson is he's extremely dangerous.
I agree.
Because he's a person that is platformed to misrepresent Pan-Africanism.
Yeah.
People think Pan-Africanism is no snow bunnies. That when people be like, "You're Pan-African? Oh, so you'll never date a white woman?" I was like, "Well, my wife is black. I've never dated a white woman, but that's not because I'm a Pan-Africanist. Whatever.
Right.
That has nothing to do with anything, right?" So I love to make fun of the fact that he hasn't started a school. I love to expose his scams. About a year ago, he came to Tulsa. I got to be there. I had to go. He came to the Greenwood Heritage Center. And Fernando, when I say I understand why he is who he is, I understand why he's platformed. He is damn good at what he does.
Yeah.
No, when I say he spoke for about 70 minutes, I don't think he stuttered or said once.
He's an entertainer.
He is an elite orator. I can honestly say about 60% of what he said, I was with him on, but he knows what to say to get people riled up. He knows what to say to get donations. He knows what to say to like dig into that bigotry. You know what I'm saying? That people that some of us have, right?
Yeah.
And so, but it was when I say I have not been that locked in and entertained by somebody in a long time. He's great at what he does, but a lot of his bullshit. Well, like I said, in 70 minutes time, I can say I can stand beside about 60 to 75%. No, about 60 to 65% of what he said, but the 35% of the cap was egregious. And if anybody who has any type of political education or good common sense, you can see what he's doing.
Get it right away.
And so the picture, I saw him afterwards. I said, I can't mess up this opportunity to talk to the good doc and take a picture. And so I go up to him. I'm like, "Hey man, how you doing, man? Can I take a picture?" Like, yeah. So while I was shaking his hand, I said, "Yo, bro, I teach African American studies." I said, "When the school go open?" Now this is in April, right? April of 24. I said, "When the school go open?" He said, "Man, I said, I'm trying to get a job." He said, "Man, holler at me in September." Here we are in March of 25. There's no school. There'll never be a school. You know what I'm saying? But I asked him to his face, like, when is the school going to open? And he gave me a lie. And so the Black Dilemma, I put him on the album cover. For me, if you know me, you know the inside joke, right? But for people who don't know, like, I remember in 2024 during Black History Month, I just wanted to see what would happen. Every single day, that was my old, my IG got hacked, but my old IG, every single day, I posted a different video of Umar where he letting him speak for himself when I'm saying the most outrageous things ever. And that is the most traffic my Instagram has ever had. And so the Black Dilemma is I can say all of the revolutionary things, all of the conscious things with real politics. You only want to hear it if you see Umar say it, right? And so like the goal was to like put him on the album cover and maybe people would go listen to it. Oh, Marcel P. Black and Dr. Umar on the album cover, let me go listen to it. And it didn't, my IG got hacked. And then because, so we're having, it's funny because I just got the EP up on streamers like last week because it was getting held up because Umar was on the cover.
Okay.
It got held up because, I don't know, I don't want to bore you with the details, but I had to do a lot of explaining that Dr. Umar, no, he's not on the album, but this is the reason why he's on the cover. I had to literally, it took me a month after the album came out for me to get it on streamers, right? Because of the Dr. Umar situation. But so it's kind of it's supposed to be irony. It's supposed to be, you know what I'm saying, inside joke, but irony at the same time, as far as like
I get it.
To draw people in, but I want also people to think like if Dr. Umar is the picture of Pan-Africanism, this is absolutely a Black dilemma.
No doubt, and that is that is a dilemma, man. Because unfortunately, like you said, a lot of kids that don't really know Pan-Africanism, when they Google it, this motherfucker shows up, and some of them think that that's it. That's Pan-Africanism right there. You know what I'm saying? All that theatrics. So it's definitely a Black dilemma. So so you got 5 tracks on the EP, man. Let's go let's go one by one real quick if we can. First one is Thank God. Talk to me about that one.
So before we get into it, I gotta shout out to my man. The producer's name is Dilemma. That's where the name comes from, and he spells it DLMA.
Indeed, yeah.
So and I was okay. The Black Dilemma, Marcel P. Black Dilemma. But and I saw a book. The book title. There's a book titled The Black Man's Dilemma. I like perfect. Here we go.
Okay.
Here we go. I didn't want to make it a book cover. I tried to update it with a TV, but whatever. But I met him. So I went to Southern University in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. My freshman year, my grades was terrible. And I went to HBCU here in Oklahoma, called Langston University. And I had a math class and I was terrible at math. And I copied off of him in math class. That's the only reason why I passed it, right? Um, I'm a history guy, English guy, math and science not my thing. But anyways, so fast forward, I moved back to Oklahoma 20 years later, and we linked back up. He lives in Tulsa, right?
Okay.
And so we linked back up. So so big shout out to him. With that beat, and I say that because I've always wanted to rap over Impeach the President drum sample. And he overheard, I guess he saw me saying that on Facebook. I didn't ask him to, but he just made me a beat pack. And I was like, and I literally was like, impeach the president, thank God. So, but I wanted to, so, you know, my father passed away. That's the reason why I moved back to Oklahoma. So a lot of my music has been about, like, it's been kind of very introspective, kind of like soul searching, or it's been like about my love of hip hop, right? And so, but at the end of the day, I'm a community worker, and all my music is, you know, one of my goals is to interrupt the school to prison pipeline and politicize the lumpen proletariat. And so that song was kind of like a reintroduction of me, like talking to it. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to show this little brother there's a God in him. Normally don't listen to the conscious nigga, but me, I touch their soul, speaking to the heart in them, right? And so that's me kind of getting back to the essence and as a reintroduction. And that chorus, you know what I'm saying? I was thinking, what can I say with thank God? That I remember Big Crit had a line on his song called King that came out way before he got famous, where he said, I washed my face and my ass, kept the slab hard. If I don't say shit out there, I thank God. So it's kind of all came back together for me. You know what I'm saying? And then even as a political conscious rapper, whatever you want to say, I'm a son of a gospel musician. So even though my music, I would never consider my music church music or gospel music. It's very secular, not crass but profane, but I do see it in line of a Black liberation theology ministry.
Okay.
Because I grew up watching my father sing this music that touched people's souls, and he had like a positive impact on people. And so I want to do the same thing. So that's why I ended it with a prayer. You understand what I'm saying? So that's kind of paying homage to my father. But I love that song. It's fun to perform. It's a little slower than what I normally do, but I like it because it's a great way to start off a set and just a great reintroduction to kind of getting back to like what I'm known for the best.
For sure. All right, so track number 2, you got my brother REKS on there, man. REKS, that's my guy, man. Shout out to REKS, man. You know, REKS. You know, he was on episode 76 of the VITAL HOOPS Pod, man. Everybody go check that out as well. Yeah, no doubt. But make dope hip hop. That track is fire, man. Tell me how'd that connection come about, man?
So, man, it's crazy, man. It's really good to have a good reputation. It's really good to like be good at what you do and be known for being good at what you do. So he's just now kind of like getting out and touring different parts of the South. He's traveled the world, but you know, as far as like some of the southern states, or even Midwestern states, he hasn't really been to. So he had done like a string of shows in Texas, and I want to say he did some shows in Denver, and he was saying how, like, little did I know, he said everywhere he was going, my name was coming up. And so he was in MERS had threw a festival in Denver, and he had brought some Tulsa artists out there, and they was like, yo, tap in with Marcel. And so I don't know any of this, right? I don't know any of this, but I'm online one day on IG, and I see REKS Official Hip Hop liking my reels and liking my posts. I'm like, huh? So I hit the DM. I'm like, yo, what's up? I'm a fan. Woo, 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 woo. He said, yo, bro, I've been hearing a lot of stuff good about you. What's up? I'm like, oh, it is really him. And so we just kind of started running it. And what's crazy is, like, we're both very busy people, so we had set up a time to like actually have a conversation. And so every night, like clockwork, I go through my Facebook memories to, like, you know, see what I've been saying forever, you know, on Facebook, right? And literally on the day that we were supposed to have our conversation on the phone, I had made a post like 12 years to the day earlier talking about him.
Wow.
Not knowing that I would ever meet him or get to know him. That's what I'm saying. So we started chopping up. I brought him to Oklahoma. He did my album release party in Oklahoma City and in Tulsa, you know what I'm saying? And we're working on doing some other stuff together as well. And he shot me the verse. I have a verse on one of his projects coming up too. But good brother, man. Great brother. Incredible MC. I say he's like the New England Royce the 5'9". You know what I'm saying? In my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Incredible MC, man.
He's incredible MC for real.
When I wanted to make that song, man, I was just kind of thinking about how, like, man, we get so caught up on these algorithms and, You know, it used to be about record sales of platinum and going #1, but now it's all about views and likes. I'm like, yo, is the hip hop good?
Yeah.
Like, is the hip hop
True.
good?
I hear it.
What is the intention with the hip hop? Is it culture? Is it like, do you feel it?
Yeah.
Like, does this derive from the 4 elements and the cultural intentions, or is this all a commercial product?
Yeah.
I don't care where you, like I said, I don't care where you're from, your age, whatever. Like I always say that my children are teenagers, right? I get tired of going to hip hop parties and only hearing 90s rap. That happened 30 years ago. I want my children to experience real hip hop in real time, and not just from old people. I want them to hear a 20-year-old artist that's dope, right? And so that's me saying, like, you know, as an elder saying, like, look, we can do all this other type of stuff, but like, is the hip hop dope? Is it good? And as fans, right? As fans, sometimes we get so caught up in nostalgia.
Yeah.
When the shit don't really be that good.
I hear you.
But one of our favorite acts from when we was in high school put out a new album, and it's just okay. You're going crazy on it. Man, there's other new dudes making better hip hop than that. It should be about the hip hop. It shouldn't be about the name. Don't get it twisted. Respect the culture, respect the legacy. But if the music is not good, it's not gas it, and let's make way for people who are really making dope hip hop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So just try to make like a statement, like a call for, like, yo, and then understand that, like, the way hip hop is used as a weapon against us and is platformed against us as well. That's another conversation as a part of that record. So, you know, just wanted to really touch on that and to get an incredible MC to like help me out on it, you know?
For sure. Yeah. On that point, you say a lot that, you know, hip hop is your weapon. You know what I'm saying? So speaking of that, like, you know, how hip hop is used against us, but we need to really take it, you know what I'm saying, take it back, because it's ours, you know what I'm saying, and use it as a weapon, like you said. You know what I'm saying? It should definitely be part of our culture as African people, and it should help us lead us to liberation. You know what I'm saying? Use it as a weapon like that. You know what I'm saying? For sure. Next track is Railroad Underground. That track, man, I enjoy it a lot too, because I love the beat, man. The beat is super dope to that one. You know what I'm saying? I encourage everybody to listen to the album, really, man, to actually to cop it. You gotta cop the album, man. It's important to support, you know, dope underground artists, man, like yourself. But yeah, talk to us about that one, Railroad Underground.
Shout out to DLMA. The beat is incredible.
Yeah, it is.
That's like, I listen to the song, I'm like, man, I was in my bag on this one. So I know this is on Black Power Media. I got to know Black Power Media through the people who are now on Black Liberation Media. Just letting them know. Shout out to everybody.
Yeah,
whatever.
No doubt.
But I was listening to the Black Liberation Media, and the Ear Doctor was talking about how nobody's really talking about nothing in the music anymore. Him and Kim were saying, you know, where's the content at? Where's the content? And I get it. People of a certain age, you don't listen to new music anymore. Like, you're checking for the legacy acts. Nobody's really checking for underground rap anymore. Honestly, even hip hop. As hip hop heads get older, they just want to get what's easy to access. Even though it's much easier to access indie rap than it's been ever in history. True. Like, you don't have to go to a store anymore. You can go on your phone. But I get it. Whatever.
They still really not making an effort. Yeah.
But it's easier. Like, it's literally easier, and it's cheaper. You know what I'm saying? But so that was kind of my response to that. So Naka, that's Ear Doctor's name. I say, a while back, Naka pondered where's political rap. Like, I'm responding to him saying that, and I'm saying, like, it never left us right here. Like, it never left, like, all the stuff that you want in hip hop. It's here. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about on the first verse. And the second verse, this is what I'm speaking about as far as, like, I'm watching artists hop in bed with open white supremacists in hopes of getting bread. I'm watching Trump pardon rappers, whatever, you know, like just watching. I'm watching Trick in Detroit. The hardest nigga ever from Detroit is bringing, you know, is a Trump rally. You know what I'm saying? Trump rally. Right? So I'm watching Trump pardon rappers, so they'll co-sign them after. They're cooning their ass off, tap dancing for these crackers. Just cause you sexy in that red, don't be rep for MAGA. Or Mari showing love to Hitler. Man, this shit is tragic. Dems giving bags for battle rappers and ads. You know what I'm saying? And never show up once the vote cast. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so it's like, I'm speaking to that. Like, people are saying there's no conscious rap out here. For one, they're not looking underground. But then the conscious artists that we know are going further fucking right.
Yes, that's the problem.
And what I'm saying is, if you look underground, we never left.
That's right. That's right. We never left.
I'm not just saying, listen to me.
Right.
My favorite, to me, in my personal opinion, the most radical left conscious hip hop artist alive is my brother Bamboo out in LA.
Yeah, I know about Bamboo.
He's a Filipino cat.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But like he has the most radical left, I mean, even Pan-African content out of all rappers out there. Right? He's underground. Everything that people say they want to hear in conscious hip hop and political hip hop, he does it. It does it damn well. But he's not a legacy act. He's not performing at the Super Bowl. He's not doing this. So you're sleeping on it, right? And so once again, that's part of the Black Dilemma. It's part of my frustrations. So like just overall, like the Black Dilemma is me being a conscious hip hop artist who's like actively into culture, giving my analysis of conscious hip hop. Yeah. So song by song, that's kind of what I'm uncovering a little bit, right? And so Railroad Underground is probably one of my favorite records on there. Cause I'll rap my ass off, the beat go crazy. And that's me singing too. That's me singing on the hook. That's me singing.
Okay, that's you. Yeah.
I thought I sounded damn good, you know what I'm saying? But like,
you did.
That's my joint. That's my joint for sure.
For sure. I love that joint too, man. And I love the next joint, actually, the Black Dilemma. That joint is cold too, man. I love how you started off with your, real MCs don't rap over vocals.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you're like, now that I got your attention, black everything. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's like, man, like the railroad movement. Like I heard Brother Ali say this other day, like your brand is the conversation that you have with the people, right? And I'm a career conscious hip hop artist. That's all I've ever done. But when I started the railroad movement, it took a life of its own. And so even it's funny, like the more the railroad movement, when you're an underground conscious hip hop artist, and that's what I talk about on this song, the majority of your crowds are going to be white. Unfortunately, black folks ain't showing up like talk about. We can talk about that later.
I definitely heard you say, yeah.
But right, that's what it's about. But my rooms, like I was already rapping for the white folks. The rooms got whiter, as you know. So it's like so this is what I'm saying. So I did successfully find the white, Latino, Hispanic, basically non-black folks who did really fuck with hip hop, right? And fuck with conscious hip hop, right? The railroad movement got me to an even wider base, to where it's like, okay, I like hip hop, but I don't know if I want to hear any pro-black shit. But I did the railroad shit. Still, I think so. So me saying real MCs don't rap over vocals, that's a chant that I do live, right?
Yeah.
This is the first time I've ever said it on a song, right? But people know me because I do the chant live because I'm an artist or whatever. But like, so that got me in so many different rooms or whatever. And sometimes, and by no means, like I stand on culture. I mean, everything about railroad, I stand on 100%. But it's like, yo, I got something to say as well. And so it's like, okay, let me get your attention. But this is what I'm really about. This is what I've always been about. This is what I've always been about. And then like getting deeper into the Black Dilemma, it's like I make it very clear. I'm trying to turn a 60 to a socialist, a Brim to a Bolshevik, revolutionize street niggas till they all convinced to put the pistols down, stop the killing and the dope is flip, poison in the hood while these devils profit off of it, organize the block, come together, stop patrolling it, run these police out, working class taking ownership of wealth that they produce from their labor, then redistribute to all our needs are met, free housing, education, food. Like I'm breaking down everything what it takes on some, let's get the lumper proletariats to organize and be socialists, right? Sure. But I cannot get these lumper proletariats to come to my shows. Yeah. And then, you know what I'm saying? And then the people who complain about there being no content in the music, they'll complain about the mainstream rappers, but they're not listening. I'm a part of Black Alliance for Peace. I'm not this Black Alliance for Peace. I'm not, whatever. But I'm a part of Black Alliance for Peace. I'm a part of the PSL, right? Okay. Like I'm actively engaged in the community as a socialist. Yeah. Like my political party is PSL. Mm-hmm. My philosophical cultural party, political party is Black Alliance for Peace. But people would rather complain about what Killer Mike is saying or whatever is saying, whoever's saying, and then actually like pushing the line of people that are part of your organizations are saying, right? And it's like, I'm talking about an all black nation with all black agenda, but it's a struggle to get niggas to listen. That's a Black Dilemma. And it's so like, I don't know how close people have actually listened to what I'm saying there. Like Railroad Underground and Black Dilemma are like the meat of the album in terms of like what I'm really getting at in terms of my analysis.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's like the meat of it. You know what I'm saying? And it's so like that's where the dilemma comes in. That's where the frustration comes in, right?
Yeah.
That's where and so this is part of my analysis and like my bird's eye view look, you know what I'm saying, at the culture from my standpoint.
For sure. And you know, man, I know I've been noticing that, you know, the real hip hop shows, man, you know, it's been a minute now. You know, it's been a lot of white people, you know, and our people are not getting there. I mean, obviously one of the reasons is that, you know, our people are going through so much shit that at some point I feel like they're like anytime they want to go to a concert or whatever, they're not even trying to go to something that's conscious. They just trying to dance or whatever. You know, that's one of the reasons I think. But it's unfortunate because they don't understand that through our music and our culture, we also know how to have a good time. You know what I'm saying? Underground, you know what I'm saying? Political, conscious hip hop also knows how to have a good time. It's not because you're going over there that it's gonna be like on some sad shit, but it's true though. Like even like recently, I went to a Talib Kweli show here where I live in France, man. You know, and it was all white folks, man. And Talib comes out to Fela Kuti and me. I went with my wife, man. Me and my wife is like, okay, it's just me and my wife and maybe like three more black people. And then it's like all white folks in the crowd, man. So, but he was vibing with us. He was looking at us like, you know, you could tell, like, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, it's something that's been going on for a little while now, you know, and all the like, we see like all the nerdy, you know, hip hop fans is white boys, you know what I'm saying? When we trying to speak to our people, you know what I'm saying? As MCs, we trying to speak to our people. And sometimes I hear you, man, it's tough.
And that's what like more we talked about more culture last time. And that's what more culture was a declarative statement saying this isn't MORE, this is MOOR culture. This is our culture. This is hip hop is Pan-African culture, right? And so like you go for more culture, it's a black, you know, people don't understand it's a more culture, and that is a black dilemma. If while we on this record, man, shout out to my man Deacon the Villain of the Mighty Cunning Linguist, one of my all-time favorite MCs.
Yeah, he killed it too, man. He killed it too on the track, man.
So did you hear the Bandcamp version or did you hear the what's on streamers?
I heard both.
Okay, because on the Bandcamp version, there's a bonus track. There's Black Dilemma Part 2. So like he gave me 2 verses. Like when I say like top 5 hip hop groups of all time for me, and to like be able to like get 2 verses from him, incredible verses. Like he left Earth on both of them. And when I heard the beat, I said, "Oh, this is perfect. This is perfect," because I'm a Southerner. Like I love Cunning Linguist because like I'm a Southerner, and I love how these niggas is country as hell, but they rap over like quote unquote like what I call Southern boom bap, and it got the commentary. That's my favorite. I love Southern underground boom bap rap, and I love it because like a lot of people think that like conscious rap got to be like, "Yo, son, when I come through," it's like, nah, these dudes country as hell. Like, and I'm country as hell, and so I love it to like when you hear like these thick Southern draws and Southern vernacular and Southern dialect with some of the most brilliant. Because if you think about it, man, like I know you don't live in America, but you're a student of a lot of our revolutionaries. Like all the GOAT black revolutionaries come from the South, or they got roots in the South. From Bobby Seale to H. Rap Brown to Huey P. Newton to Martin Luther King Jr. to like Fred Hampton was the only person born in Chicago. His family, he's buried in Louisiana. You understand what I'm saying? To you know, all these people like they Southerners, to Ralph Abernathy, to all these cats. You know what I'm saying? Like they are Southerners. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like some of the most intelligent, brilliant, articulate, revolutionary people. Like what was going on in Mississippi, like Fannie Lou Hamer. Like that wasn't going on in you know in these other northern cities, or you know what I'm saying? But like Black folks owe the South a serious debt. The most powerful civil rights marches and stuff was made off of teenagers getting, you know, boycotting, organizing, and getting their heads beat in by police in the South, and integrating schools in Little Rock, and the bus boycott started in Baton Rouge and Montgomery outbound. Like Southerners paid a great debt to Black America and America, and so the civil rights is because of the Southerners, and so I do not like when people who are not from here, they dismiss us as ignorant of country and backwards, like we didn't fucking put you in this position. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I love it when people like when I'm able to work with people like Deacon the Villain, and even on Black Dilemma Part 2. That's my guy, Dollar Black. That's my guy from Mississippi. That dude's incredible, man. That dude's incredible. You know what I'm saying? And so like, you know, just really like remind the people like, yo, bro, we here, and it's we here.
For sure, man. Yeah, and you finished the EP with the track number 5, Star, featuring Uriah Owens. Yeah, you finished it out smooth. You know what I'm saying? Smooth, mellow. Yeah, talk to me about that last track, man, to close it out.
So like one of the unfortunate things about being a conscious hip hop artist, on top of the fact that I think there is a government and like a limitation. There's a government a limitation in terms of how much we get platformed, and which I think bleeds into the industrial thing as far as we're doing a platform. Yeah. We can't afford to rap about the same thing every single song like trap rappers do.
Yeah.
Future can have a whole song about pills, a whole album 1 through 15 about pills and lean. Drake can have a whole album 1 through 15 about girls. Griselda or whoever can have a whole album about shooting people. You know what I'm saying? 1 through 15, right? Yeah. As conscious hip hop artists, people say it's not diverse enough, right? And so like one thing I believe, right? I'm saying like, so one thing I wanted to do was, and then plus like I like to push myself as an MC. Yeah. So that's more of an upbeat song, an upbeat track, and this was the song where I kind of went more internal in terms of consciousness, not necessarily Black consciousness, but like, or you know, Pan-African consciousness or whatever, but like my consciousness, kind of what I'm going through, and like kind of showing like, that's what I say, like this is what it sounds like when a nigga win. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm tired of crying, trying to hide my tears from my kids, right? And so like just kind of going, looking inward and like, you know, fighting against imposter syndrome. You know, my father passed away. Grief is a motherfucker. You understand what I'm saying? Sure. And so it's like, STAR, that's the acronym for Soundtrack to a Revolution. And so this is my revolution. This is my tearing down of the oppressive systems that are inside of me. And like you know, it coming out on top of whatever. And so I just wanted to do something different. Shout out to Uriah Owens. Originally, so one of my all-time favorite songs is 6 Cents by Common, produced by DJ Premier, with Bilal on the hook. So I wanted
that's to do so fire, man. That joke.
And so like, because on that song he says this is soundtrack to a revolution. That's what he says on the song. So like, okay, I'm gonna call it Star, and I wanted to do it a completely different way. But when Uriah got in the studio, he wrote what he wrote. You know what I'm saying? We're like, you know what? If the Lord say the same, let's go with it or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, I'm a church boy. He's a church boy as well. Okay. And so it was just a natural fit, man. So, but it just a different way. I mean, you know, I think I was rapping my ass up on that too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And just a different way. Something, you know, if the other songs were a little bit too heavy for you, like even though the song is a little bit, you know, in terms of like it might be a little bit deeper. The beat knock, it sound good. The hook, you can sing along with the hook. It has some of those qualities, you know what I'm saying? If you're not just really trying to like put your thinking cap on and nothing else, you can play it in a knock. You know what I'm saying? Sure. And then always as an MC, like, of course, I have a duty to say something, but I also challenge I'm still a musician.
Yeah.
And like, I challenge myself to make great music, make dope hip hop or whatever, regardless of what I'm talking about.
For sure. I hear that, man. And the album is really, I think, man, this one is dope, man. Not that the other ones is not, but this one is really complete in my opinion. Like, you know, from 1 to 5.
I believe it's my best work.
Yeah, I believe
it's my best work, man. I'm really proud of it. Like, big shout out to my man Jack Maybe. He did the mixing and mastering. When he mastered the tracks, I didn't have any notes. I was pleased. The first version of the master he sent me, that's what you hear.
Yeah.
I didn't say nothing back to him. So
for
like,
sure, he was like, that's it.
We knocked this EP out in probably 2 sessions or what have you. You know what I'm saying? And as far as me recording my parts or whatever,
right,
like 2 sessions, maybe 3. I mean, if we wouldn't have talked so much in between, then we probably could have got it done in 1. But we get to, you know, he's a socialist like myself, so we always talk about a lot of different stuff. But yeah, man. So I'm really proud of it, man. I'm really proud of it. The rollout for it didn't go how I wanted it to go because I lost my IG and then the Twitter. I mean the social streamers. But I'm gonna work the hell out of this project. This is one of my best works. Like, it came out a month ago, but it's gonna be out forever. And like and honestly, like I'm going to tour it. I'm going to promote it. I'm going to sell it. I want people to listen.
For sure.
Like, I want people to engage the conversation.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's because streaming don't pay nothing, right? I make most of my money off of Bandcamp when it comes to like selling stuff. Streaming don't pay nothing, but I know everybody don't got Bandcamp. I put it on streamers because I want people to listen, so we can have these type of conversations. Because it's deeper than just another project. Like, I'm trying to talk to you. Like, I'm 41 years old. A lot of my peers done quit. I still got something to say.
For sure.
And I still want to talk about these things. We talk about them in the barbershop. We talk about them in the IG comments and in the group chats and things of that nature. Like, let's talk about it in the music.
Yeah, for sure. I hear that, man. You mentioned how people, when they listen to conscious rap, they feel like, our shit is not versatile enough. Like, we always talk about the same shit and all of that. And, I've heard that criticism as well. And, but the thing is that a lot of times it's actually pretty easy for an MC to be diverse and to talk about different shit. The thing that I always be thinking about, what I'm saying, also as an underground MC, is that there's a good chance that a motherfucker might only hear me one time. So when I'm rhyming, I want to make sure I'm saying that shit that I mean. You know what I'm saying? So that's also what happens as far as that. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I get the chance to spit a verse, I want to talk about that shit, man, because I know motherfuckers might not hear me, or they might just hear me one time or on one track. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's another reason why, you got to say what we got to say, because we mean it, because we feel it and we mean it. You know what I'm
saying? To me, hip hop, the essence of hip hop is honest self-expression and intention. So it's certain, like, for me, like, I'm not the type of person that thinks that somebody got out of prison shouldn't rap about his life.
Right.
Or I'm not the type of person who thinks that somebody who might have really been in the streets selling drugs shouldn't rap about their life. I want to hear the art. I want to hear the intention. I want to hear what you're trying to say. To me, it becomes a problem. It's not getting twisted. There's some meaningless music that sounds good too. I'm not knocking that either, right? But the essence of hip hop, like, for instance, I'm gonna give you an example. People might not consider him an MC, but I enjoy Max O'Cream. He's from Houston. He's a first generation Nigerian living in Houston. He's a Hoover Crip. His stuff is really, really street. But if you listen to the attention, the detail, the honesty, the storytelling, the vulnerability,
I'm not familiar with it.
I'm gonna send you a video as soon as we get off of here. Whatever, a couple of tracks or whatever. It's street music. Let's not get it twisted, but like, it's very introspective. It's very deep. It's very honest. It's very raw. Like, Biggie said nothing positive, right? But the story that he told of him growing up in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, was real. You felt it. You know what I'm saying? Right. And so, like, if you're not gonna have, like, you don't have to. For me personally, it ain't got to be the content that I like. It might not be reflective in a book that I might read, but, like, to me, it's just as liberating to be able to honestly and truthfully articulate where you come from, and then you love the craft so much that you make sure your skill set and make sure you're dope, right? And so, and that type of stuff is needed. And so, like, I've made conscious hip hop over trap beats. I've made conscious hip hop over boom bap, country rap tunes. I've made whatever. Like, I'm going to always push myself as an MC to make sure that I'm delivering good music on top of, mix in with the content of the message, and always the intention.
Yeah, no doubt. But that used to be an unwritten rule. Like, you already knew you had to be real about it. If you spitting some shit that you're not living, some shit that's not really you, if you're not being authentic, you was considered whack right away. You know what I'm saying? And today, unfortunately, a lot of people is like, he didn't write it, it don't matter, it's still dope. Or like, oh, he's making money. That's the worst part. People are dope just because if they get in the bag, anything is justified. Oh, they get in the bag, they get money.
What's funny about it, like, I think the whole "they making money" excuse is old. These kids care about views.
Yeah, true,
like,
true.
Literally.
Like, look how many views they got. Yeah, you're right.
They care about views and likes on behind the scenes content more than the raps.
True.
Like, more than the rap. They want to watch the vlogs. They want to listen to the podcast. They care about the content. And I'm not talking about the content as far as message. They're talking about the package, the commodification of a product, as opposed to the actual art and intention. So, like, I remember, like, teaching hip hop class. I'm like, so why do you think the music industry purposely misrepresents what it is to be blah 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 blah? Because they're trying to get views. Nobody thought about the money aspect of it. And so these kids are worried about how many views, how many followers. Oh, Miss Williams, you ain't got no followers. I literally performed in 20 states last summer. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, well, maybe 16 during the summertime in 2 months. I literally performed I opened up for Rakim. How many views Rakim got? Like, nigga, all right.
They don't know who Rakim is, man.
Oh no, indeed. I be trying to teach. I be trying to put them up on it though.
But yeah, but the problem is when they want to rap, that's the real problem because you got to know the history of what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? If you want to rap, you got to find out, learn about Rakim and all these dudes, man. Because it's important if you're doing something. You know, you can't play basketball and not know who Michael Jordan was. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but yeah, man, I appreciate you always, brother and comrade, man. It's dope to have you back on, and we need artists like yourself, man, who are down with the cause, man. You know what I'm saying? Who are about liberation, and teachers as well, teachers like yourself, man. So I appreciate the work that you do, the importance of culture. We understand culture to be a weapon. Our culture has to be revolutionary. It has to be, man. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Everything that we do has to be because we're at war, man. So that's the key. Before I let you go, comrade, do you have a book recommendation?
So right now in my backpack I have I have Tip of the Spear by Orisanmi Burton.
Okay.
I have the Black Liberation Army Handbook.
Always.
And I think I'm listening to Black Against Empire by Joshua Bloom and Waldo E. Martin Jr.
Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of like telling like the history of like radical revolutionary politics in America or whatever. And it's pretty dope. It's just something that I listen to. I'm trying to wind down for bed or whatever.
Yeah.
And I always keep a couple books in my bag. My bag is downstairs or whatever. But yeah, so that's what I'm on. And I've really just been learning more about. I'm teaching, so I'm always learning something different, so I could teach it or what have you. So I've had to revisit the Autobiography of Malcolm X,
for sure.
what have you.
That's a classic, man.
So just read this. If you ever get a chance, Fernando, go to Audible and listen to the Autobiography of Malcolm X, read by Lawrence Fishburne.
Oh yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do
Oh
it.
my God. Okay. Oh my God, it's so good.
Killed it?
Like
okay.
it's like I'm telling you, bro. Like if I was outside in the 50s and 60s and Malcolm was sounding like that, I definitely would be Nation of Islam. Definitely. You'd have had me, you know what I'm saying, bean pies and bow ties, boy. You know what I'm saying? But hearing Lawrence Fishburne do it, like I've read the book like 4 times, but hearing Lawrence Fishburne do it is amazing. It's a great listen, a great learn. And then it's really good. So I'm gonna recommend that.
Yeah, no doubt. That book, I haven't listened to it, but definitely reading it, man. I remember reading it for the first time. My brother gave it to me. That joint, like I know it did it to everybody else. It kind of changed my life, but it got me kind of thinking. It got me thinking a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I remember also when I read it the second time, I understood how much I didn't understand shit the first time I read it, and it still impacted me. You know what I'm saying?
I gave one to my son for his 13th birthday, and so I have a white student in my African American Studies class, and when I say he asks all the right questions, and he gets it. I gave him he's a senior about to graduate, so as an early graduation present, I got a copy for him. I gave it to him maybe 2 weeks ago. He has like maybe 3 or 4 chapters left. To get a high school student to read a book.
I hear that. Yeah, true.
Like because we don't have any. I have 0 textbooks in my classroom. Everything is online, right? Or I'm printing out paper copies or something. Okay. So to get it's a thick book. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it is.
So that book is powerful, man. It's powerful.
Yeah, for sure.
Very powerful.
For sure. Appreciate that, man. Let me give one book recommendation, man. I'm reading this book. I'm almost done, man. It's The 5 Principles, man, by Stic of Dead Prez. It's a revolutionary path to health, inner wealth, and knowledge of self, man. You got that too?
I got it on my Audible. I got it on my phone. Yep.
Listen, man, this book, I've recommended it before, but this book is so dope, man. Like, see, what he did on here is that he wrote the book like he's talking to the homies. You know what I'm saying? He's talking to you like he's talking to the homies. So it's super dope. It's super relatable and like, Um, yeah, it's just really dope. I recommend everybody to check it out, man, because this, you know, revolutionary path to health, inner wealth, and knowledge of self. Truly a dope one, man.
So
Okay, okay.
I'm on chapter 11. I'm on chapter
Yeah,
11.
yeah, check it out, man. It's dope. Finish it for sure, man.
Because it's 17 chapters. Yeah, I'm on
Hmm.
chapter 11.
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. When you read
Let
it,
me show
man.
so y'all. Let me show some people think I'm capping. Ain't no cap in my raps. Chapter 11. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Okay, okay.
I got it on there. Man, I can't read. It makes me sleepy at night or whatever. So
Yeah,
like, I sometimes I miss stuff, and so it's easier for me sometimes like when I'm just driving to put it on like
yeah,
to
yeah,
put it
yeah.
on here, just you know what I'm saying, so I can like really pay attention. Because if
Mm.
I read if I read a chapter, you know what I'm saying, I'm dozing off. Right.
For sure, man. Hey, man. Appreciate you, man. Anything you wanna leave us with, before I let you go, man. Definitely encourage everybody to click the links. Click the links down in the description and holler at the comrade, man. He's accessible, man. He's out here. And we gotta and follow him, man. We gotta get his IG back up. You know what I'm saying?
Marcel P Black
Yeah.
official.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, we
that's the
gotta
new
get your
IG.
IG back up, man.
Peace to all the Africans across the world. Peace to all the people fighting for the struggle. Peace to all the comrades. Free H. Rap Brown.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Welcome home, Little Peltier. Free Mumia. Yeah, man.
We gonna win. We
Support,
gonna win.
support liberation, be it activism, be it art, be it education, be it community organizing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's really do it. Like, people with our politics, man, we can talk about it all day and hop on these podcasts, but let's really get out, mobilize, and use every single tool in our chest to get free.
For sure. Let's do that. Appreciate you, man.
Peace.
Uhuru. All right. That was episode 80 of the VITAL HOOPS Podcast with the good brother, Marcel P. Black. Very dope MC. I'll say it again. Make sure you go cop his newest EP, The Black Dilemma. The link is down in the description. And make sure you support this platform, Black Power Media Reloaded. Support the VITAL HOOPS Podcast if you can. You know what I'm saying? Become a patron. Anything you can do is much appreciated. Please like, share, subscribe. And remember, this podcast is also available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. VITAL HOOPS, for the people, by the people, for the culture. Uhuru.